Thank you, host.
She studied in Indonesia. Mm-hmm. Won't take that long. We'll find a way to get you some scholarships.
So we can start now?
Yeah, Scott will need access to sharing his screen, but we're ready to go.
Okay. I hope my connection will be stable. Okay, we start on 3, 2. Wait.
Nice, thank you.
Okay, good morning to all of you, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening for our speaker, Mr. Scott and Mr. Mike. Okay, I'm your host. My name is Quido Kainde, and I hope you are keeping well, healthy, and always safe. It's my pleasure to welcome you here. I'd like to thank you for all of participants for joining us today for this webinar, Leading with Purpose, Part 3, How to Lead Change. And our speakers, Mr. Michael Stinnett and Mr. Scott Hinson. Our moderator, Mrs. Alfrina Mewengkang. I would like to invite her to lead our webinar today. Mrs. Alfrina, are you ready?
Okay, Mr. Kido.
Okay, screen is yours, please.
Good morning, Indonesia. Hello, good evening, United States of America. Hello, everyone, and thank you very much for tuning in for today's webinar. This is the third webinar series and also the last series of Leading with Purpose. And our topic for today is how to lead change. This event is presented by Student Entrepreneurship Development Program, Faculty of Social Science, Universitas Negeri Manado, collaborate with research institutes and community service, and by Unima Hamburg Entrepreneur Center. Okay, we already knew our panelists today. We are pleased to welcome Mr. Michael Stinnett and also Mr. Scott Hinson. Hi, Michael. Hi, Scott.
Hi.
Nice
How
to
is
meet
everyone?
you again. Today, I think the floor is yours for now.
Okay,
Please.
fantastic. Could we have someone, whoever is the host on the Zoom, could you make it to where Scott Hinson could share his screen?
Please, Scott. Please.
Got it.
Got it.
Perfect. That's almost there.
Yeah.
Almost there. So we spent 2 nights with you so far talking about leadership, and hopefully it's been beneficial and you've been able to take something from it and apply it to your life. We talked about leading with purpose, and how important it is that you establish a clear reason for starting your business, a clear reason, a purpose for your life and what you're trying to accomplish. And here are some thoughts to consider dealing with that specifically. That when we talk about leading for change, and that means that trying to make a difference, that leading for change requires leading others with purpose. And what we're going to talk about tonight is that no change happens by an individual. Change is brought about by a team of people moving toward a purpose. And change is accomplished by a continual commitment to purpose, because change is not quick. And really, if you read success stories are not short stories. Success stories are processes that take much, much longer than what we know often. So we're going to talk about those things tonight. Other people. All three of these things be a part of the plan for going to achieve. It's true. And go ahead.
We cannot hear Scott's voice clearly.
Aha. Sorry, is that better?
Yes.
Okay. Let me go back one screen and say that again. So our 3 points tonight are commitment to character, commitment to consistency, and commitment to other people. We need all three of these points to achieve the change that we would like to see.
And honestly, those things are difficult for us because as Americans, we're typically afraid of commitment. Commitment requires a lot of personal investment and sacrifice. And so when we talk about a commitment to character, and we finished last week talking about this some, and we're really excited to get to talk some more about this idea that character is the person that we are when no one else is looking. That's what Bill Hybels was a leader, and he said that. John Maxwell teaches on leadership and character and talks about that the decisions that you make when no one knows determine who you're going to be. And so what we want to think about is the person that you are when no one is around is the person who will bring your success or cause your failure. What kind of character do you have? Do you make the right decisions, the ethical decisions, when no one knows? If it were going to be secret, would you still make the right decision? And here's why it matters so much, because bad character, or like an unethical character, it will lead you to take shortcuts that hurt your company, or they hurt your family, or they hurt your purpose. It will lead you to make unethical decisions that ultimately will hurt other people. And so we have to invest time to develop the kind of character that is going to give us the opportunity to lead change, because change doesn't happen quickly, and character is what helps us stay consistent. And that's what Scott's going to talk about now, as he's going to talk about why consistency matters.
Commitment to consistency. So we have the character in place. Now we have to consistently, point one, make the right decisions over a long period of time that will build a lasting company. We'll make many, many decisions every day, but it's the decisions toward a particular goal, a particular direction that matter. Point two is grit. You must have what we call grit, or determination, or resolve to push ahead and to continue reaching your goal. And so it's consistency over a long period of time in a singular direction So you have character and you have consistency, and both of these must be directed towards your purpose. So the last two sessions we've talked about your purpose. Purpose of your life, of your company, of your mission. And if everything is directed towards that purpose, then your consistent decisions over time will line up behind that, and that will help you achieve your goals or achieve the change that you wish to see in your customer or your community or yourself.
Hey, if you've ever faced a situation that made you want to quit or made you want to give up, can you do the little raised hand emoji? Or maybe a thumbs up emoji if you've ever faced a struggle where you said, this is more than I can handle. It's difficult. This is hard. Because that's what Scott's talking about when he says grit. Grit is I'm going to get knocked down, but I'm not going to quit. I'm going to get back up. We talked last week about climbing the mountain. And grit says, even though I might slide or I might fall, I will keep climbing the mountain, because my purpose is up there and I'm going to keep walking toward it. So have that grit. And I see some of you putting your thumbs up, because we all face challenges in life that require us to nail down who we are, like that character. I'm not going to quit, and be consistent, keep moving forward in a singular direction towards your purpose. And so thanks for interacting with us and hitting those spots. And the last one is something that is very important to me and to Scott, is that in order to lead change, we have to acknowledge that we cannot do it by ourselves. We must be committed to other people. So here are some thoughts. Can you go back a screen? Thoughts to consider. We'll go ahead and talk about these. That when you're leading other people, change is always going to require risk. It's not going to be certain. And sometimes people don't like it when you try to change things. But you notice, well, I'm not sure that I like the way things are. Something needs to change. So let's talk about that. How many of you have ever noticed in an organization or within a company or even in your own life that something needed to change? And making that change was going to be difficult. But it's more difficult to do it by yourself if you want it to last. It's going to require taking risks. And if you want to lead change, you're going to need to lead other people, because you can't make a difference or bring that change by yourself. And then in order to keep people with you, because ultimately if we're leading other people, we want them to stay with us, is they will follow a leader who is authentic or who is real and honest, has good character. Even when you disagree, you'll still follow them because you see the purpose in what they're doing and the decisions that they're making. So those are some thoughts to consider about change. And as we talk about being committed to other people, can we pull that one up? We want to talk about some ways to be committed to other people, because a team will always accomplish more than an individual. So let me ask you some questions. Again, if you can relate to this, do the thumbs up emoji or something like that. How many of you have ever felt like someone wasn't listening to you and your opinions didn't matter? Anybody ever felt that way? Yeah, me too, Ricky. And one of the ways to build a quality team and to lead change that makes a difference is to put people around you and value those people. So you have to listen to them. If Scott and I are going to work on a team together and we're going to try and accomplish a goal, we have to listen to each other. And when I say listen to each other, I don't mean that you just hear them talking, but you're waiting to talk. is you actually have to listen and think about what the other person is saying. Sometimes we're not very good at listening because we're just ready to give an answer. We're just waiting for our turn to talk. So we've got to slow down and listen so that we can value other people. And the next thing is, when it comes to valuing people, is you have to empower people. If you're going to put people around you, give them purpose too. Give them something to do that matters. Because I can't get everything done that needs to be done. So I have to empower Scott. And Scott can't get everything done, so he empowers me, and we work together to get more things accomplished. Does that make sense? I hope that's clear. It's really important that we value other people. And another one, these aren't like secrets. These are just part of the puzzle. Another thing to do if you're going to be committed to other people and they're going to help you bring change is to create a culture of safety and communication. And that's where you learn to invest your energy and your time in collaborating with other people, working together on projects that move you towards your purpose. That way you're not doing it all by yourself. And also know this, no one has all the right answers. Even if I think I have all the right answers, it doesn't mean that I do. And so I have to learn to listen to other people and value their opinions. And also, one of the things that comes with teamwork is letting people try things and take risks and try new things, letting people experiment. Be okay if something doesn't work. You create a safe place to try things. And if it fails, let's learn from it and let's make it different next time so we can do better. It's about always getting better so that we can accomplish our purpose as we move together. So take risks, because that's where change lies. It's on the other side of those risks that we have to take.
I have a question. I have a specific question for Mr. Reki Sendo. Reki, do you have a team that you work with?
Yeah, Kido, Alfrina, they are all my team members.
Are they in the UHEC organization?
Yep.
So do you depend on them, or could you do this all by yourself?
Depend on them, of course.
So even a leader like Mr. Reki, even a doctor like Mr. Reki always has to depend on other people, because I would assume because you get more done if you have other people to work with. And you probably do a better job than if you were by yourself. That's correct.
Yes. And something we talked about last week, and Scott did a really good job of pointing this out, was that we need a team of people who aren't like us, is have different people who have different strengths and abilities so that we all make each other better. It's not very helpful to put a bunch of people around you who are all good at the same things you are good at. Put different people around you and invest in each other, empower each other. Any more? So we mentioned these thoughts to consider. Change requires risk taking. How many of us are afraid to take risks? Anybody kind of like nervous about taking risks because you're afraid you might fail or something? Anyone? We're having technical difficulties. Alfrina, you gave a thumbs up. Does taking a risk, does that sometimes scare you?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes when to decide what I have to do is the most difficult thing, and I should wait overnight until I know what I should do.
Yeah, for sure. That can be tough. How many of us, it's our fear of failing that keeps us from taking risks? All the time, yeah. Yeah, me too, Premi. This question, can anyone tell us what it is that you see in the world right now that you would like to change? What do you see going on, or what's out there that you wish was different and you want to do something about it? Like your business or the company that you're creating, or your job, your family. What change do you want to make?
One change in the community or in the society. Can you give us some ideas? We have the way women see themselves.
Premi, can you maybe fill me in on that? Like, what is it right now? How do women see themselves that you would like to see changed? And I know you've talked. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Well, for me, and that's one of the reasons why I founded Female Empowerment Indonesia, is because most women now would not even nowadays, for a long time, women we point fingers and see that the society or men, let's say, for those who are more feminist, saying that, you know, we've been made into you know, the second class in the society compared to men. But I found that it only happens when we as women let it happen, right? And like I think some of us already know that the voice from outside is very strong when it's like, you know, telling us about their opinion about us. And this is not even only women, but this impacted most women nowadays on a daily basis. But women, we have stronger voice that stays with us 24 hours of the day. We don't have to wait for, you know, the society to tell us that we're not enough, we don't have the capacity, we're not good enough, that we're not capable, or we're weak and stuff like that. It comes from inside of us, inside our head. Every time when we look into the mirror, most women will have that struggle inside of them, and waking up with, all right, instead of what am I going to do great today, we started with, all right, I hope I'm not going to make that mistake, or, you know, I'm probably going to make that mistake again. So these type of things is, or not, I'm not worthy for this, you know, I'm not good enough for this. Oh no, I'm going to meet this person and then they're going to blame me for this, or they're going to see me this way. And so that is actually what I want to change about how women perceive themselves on the daily basis. And most of the time, this is projected towards other women. And I think there's some research that also talk about this, where actually the reason where women is failing most of the time is not actually men, but it's other women, where we're like, you know, almost like creating barriers for the other women because we're competing most of the time. But it actually is a projection of our personal insecurities, and then we're projecting it towards other women. And so this is what I want to change, actually.
That's going to take commitment to consistency.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's a great purpose, and it's going to be a lot of work, but I'm excited. You can always reach out to Scott or myself for any thoughts or ideas, and just let us know how it's going. Like, don't forget to tell us and keep us updated on that.
Definitely. Thank you so much.
Anyone else like see something that's going on in the world or in society, or the reason that you're making a company? Like, what change do you hope to bring?
As we mentioned, speak up for our opinions. So maybe a stronger voice being able to speak up, changing oneself.
Yeah.
At this time, I'm assuming you're still mostly working from home, going to school from home. Is that correct? So during this time, has this given you any ideas about changes that could be made? At this time, of staying home more, doing things different, Zoom. Has it given you any ideas for changes that could be made to how you do life, how you do your business, how you do school, how you teach, how you communicate with others? Has it changed anything?
Yeah, family. Yeah. Calvin has a hand up.
Anybody? Thoughts on change?
We can talk about a different one. This last statement here, that people will follow a leader who is authentic even when they disagree. Any thoughts about that? Like, how hard is it to follow somebody who you can't trust? One of the things in leadership that I sometimes struggle with, but I know that it's important, is I have to let the people that I lead, my team, I have to let my team know when I'm struggling with something. If I'm struggling with a decision or I'm struggling with fear, I need to be honest with them and tell my team what it is that's bothering me. Otherwise, I'm going to have to pretend to be okay. And that's not real leadership. I have to be authentic and let them know how I'm feeling, what I'm dealing with, or what I believe. And then sometimes I'll have people on my team who disagree with me, but we learn to communicate because we value each other. And so that's the thing I think we can end with and we can discuss is, how do we value other people in such a way that it allows them to disagree with us, but we can still work together? Any thoughts on that? Can anyone tell us how you feel valued by people? Yeah, I think we all need communicated expectations and boundaries. I'm not always good at communicating expectations. Often I find that I say, hey, here's what needs to be done, go do that. And then I get frustrated when it doesn't get done properly. So we've got to communicate expectations clearly. That's good.
Do you feel valued in your boss or your teacher or business? They respect your opinion? We're getting towards the end of our talk on leadership in these sessions. question in the chat. What is a characteristic of a good? What are some characteristics of a good leader? Any words out there? What do you think? What we've talked about over the past 3 weeks, or any ideas you have. What's the characteristics of a good leader? One word is okay.
Hello, Scott. Hello.
Hi, a risk taker.
Yeah. Hello. Can you hear my voice?
Yes.
How you can let your team to disagree with you? If you build a team, you must have a same purpose. You must have same vision. So if you let your team to disagree with your decision, how about that?
Yeah,
Is
let's
it
talk
okay
about
for
that.
you?
Yeah, I can talk about that because that's something that I experience. So the purpose isn't what we disagree about. It's certain things that we do, like a plan that we might have for a program or an outreach event, or a way that we do something. We can disagree on that, and then we will talk about it. We will share our opinions and ideas, and then we determine what is the best way to move forward. But as a leader, if I didn't let people disagree with me, then I would never hear their ideas. And I wouldn't, sometimes their ideas are better than mine. And so by letting them disagree on the way we do something, not why we do it, we all agree about the why we do it, our purpose. But we disagree sometimes on the specific thing that we're going to do. Does that make sense, Guido?
Oh, okay. Because some people, I think it's normal. When we have disagree with our leader, and the decision of the leader it's not same with my opinion, so I don't want to follow him.
And that can be hard. There are times where, and depending upon the leader, if the decision was made and that's the organization that you're with, then you follow the decision of the leader. But if we create a culture of safety and clear communication, then you can talk to the leader about how that made you feel, what you thought about it. Maybe we should do it this way next time. And when you create that kind of environment that allows you to have that conversation, you can really bring positive change. If the leader doesn't allow other people opportunity to disagree or to have a different opinion about a strategy, then you're very limited in what you can accomplish, in my opinion.
Yeah, because to find the opportunity to speak to the leader, it's a hard way.
Yeah, and that's why it's so risk-taking, because that's scary.
Yeah, risk taking. Yeah, it's a bit scary. Yeah, it's
So
scary.
does that make sense though?
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you very much.
Good. Hey, thanks for asking that question, because I'm really, really glad that we got to clear that up. That was good.
Another point. Andrew, did you have something? You mentioned that she feels valued when her people on her team trust her enough to be honest, very honest with her, and agree to disagree about some things. So I think it's important as a leader, if that makes you feel valued for your team to be honest with you and to disagree with you.
Sorry, Scott. Your voice is not clearly here. Here.
So can you hear me now?
Okay, good.
Okay, so if your team is going to be very honest with you, if that makes you feel valued, that your team is going to be very honest with you, disagree with you or disagree with you. I think it's important that the leader expresses that expectation, that she or he says, it makes me feel valued when you disagree with me or when you agree with me. If you say that to your team, that's going to empower your team to give their ideas. And so I think it's very important for the leader to communicate that it is okay. It's even more than okay to disagree with me. It makes me feel valued, and it'll be good for our team if you agree or disagree with me. So I think that's important to remember.
I want to add to that real quickly, but it needs to be respectable. Like no fighting, no name calling. You can't be rude to each other. You can disagree kindly and have conversation that honors each other. And again, that's where it boils down to. Not one person has all the right answers. And we need each person on the team to bring his or her best, and let's get to the best solutions out there. That's why the companies that create the best products are teams of people. The companies that make lasting differences have great teams that challenge each other, and they get better and better and better because of it.
Michael,
Yes.
sometimes we cannot choose our leader. So,
Agree.
yeah, especially in a business, when you apply your job, you have to, get the leader chosen by the company.
Mhm.
And sometimes we face the leader that cannot receive the disagreement with the subordinate. What do you think about that? How can we face the situation like that?
Okay, that's very tough. If you're not allowed, like if your leader, if your boss will not let you disagree, then don't. If you have to keep the job, but you can be consistent, and you can be committed. Now, here's what's Ricky. This is tricky. Okay, if you're going to be committed to character, then you can't talk bad about your boss.
Yeah.
You can't disrespect your boss to other people that you work with, because you want to maintain that character and that consistency, because one day you might be the boss.
Yeah.
And you don't want people to think about you like that. So never start that. And then the other thing is, start with small decisions, trying to have small conversations with your boss to build a relationship. And it might take years, but that's where consistency comes in, is build a relationship over time that the boss can trust you and might allow you to speak in that way. It might not ever happen, but it might happen if you build that trust over a long period of time. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I agree with you.
I think the problem is that, how many of you have ever been really, really upset with your boss or somebody that was your authority, and you talked bad about them to other people? Has anyone ever done that, or am I the only one?
Has anyone ever talked bad about their boss?
Hello.
I mean, not Ricky. I mean, about their boss.
Hello,
Yes,
That's
please.
Mr. Kido.
Yes, please, Mr. Paulus.
Thank you very much for the occasion is given to me. I want to ask to Michael. I totally agree with your opinion. If you want to lead change, you will need to lead with other people. But in reality, with an organization, there are many different opinions and input. How do we unite different opinions. In this context, how to lead a good communication with them? I think that's all. Yeah. Do you understand what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. So
Yeah.
in an organization, how do you bring people with different opinions together to accomplish one purpose? Like to work together. And what do you think, Scott?
I think we go back to the beginning when we talk about the purpose. If I see you meeting with
Your voice, Scott. Excuse me, your voice.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry.
So what Scott was saying is that it boils down to, Paulus, that if
Yeah.
you consistently lead with purpose and you put people around you that see that purpose as the most important thing, then different opinions can help us because we have ideas that we can go through together and figure out what is best. So it's where you have to clearly communicate the purpose. Here's why we're doing what we're doing. And then let's honestly talk about all of the options out there. So a person who has a different opinion than me, if I respect that person and I let that person speak, and then we all talk to one another on our team. And I lead a team right now that currently has about 20 people on it when we come together to discuss something. And so we may have 12 or 13 different ideas. And it's my responsibility to listen to each person and for us to talk about what is the best decision to accomplish the purpose that we have as an organization. And I want to do that by valuing each person, because I think that's how we unite them. You don't unite people if you disrespect them or devalue them. That's how you divide people. And so we have to build clear communication in our relationships and stay focused on why we're doing this. Here's the purpose. It's not easy, Paulus, but if we do it consistently, then it can work.
Yeah.
Did that answer your question?
Yeah. Okay. Of course, we must listen any person in organization, although there are many opinions. Yeah.
Yeah, there are always going to be multiple opinions. But if you, as a team, if your team values one another, if you all value each other and you consider each other important, then you'll listen to each other and be able to talk about what the best decision is. I would like to encourage all of you as leaders, and as you move forward in the future, always remember that you might not have the best idea out of everyone in the room. And the only way to find out is to let other people share their thoughts.
In this context, we must make a good communication with all of them. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly right.
Yeah. Thank you for the answer to me.
Excuse
Good
me.
answer, yeah.
Even they have negative talks. Is it okay?
It's okay. Is it Riley-Ann?
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Really?
I want. Hello, Mr. Scott. Hello, Mr. Michael. I'm
Hello.
a student. I have a small question about where a young person can also be a career for change, or does not see age, includes character in integrity in changing leadership. I just tell about that. Can you understand my mind, Mister? Just that I tell.
Is it, you're asking about how does a young person show integrity and lead for change with older people?
Yes, I want to about age, young people.
Okay. Yes, I think young people have great ideas, and that sometimes we need to listen more to young people's ideas because they see things that we might not see as we get older. And so that's important. It's also important for us to find young people who share ideas so that we can bring them into our organizations and allow them from an early age to begin the process of making change. Because they learn how to lead and they learn how to work together. And you don't have to wait. Like, I don't think there's a magic age out there. I think it's whenever you feel something and you've got a desire to do something and make a change, that you have to write down, okay, why do I want that to change? What is it that needs to be different? And that becomes your purpose. You want this change to happen, and here's why. And then you start making decisions consistently to bring that to pass, to make that happen. And talking about integrity is young people sometimes maybe are quick to get frustrated with older people because some young people think that old people they never change or they don't listen. But you just have to continue the path, continue walking in that direction, continue having conversations with them, hoping to bring change. And that's where the integrity comes in, is as a young person, find ways to honor people even if you disagree with them. And that will help you bring change. I hope that answers your question.
Mr. Scott, Mr. Mike, yeah, that's right. Young people are idealistic, and young people also see things that older cannot see. But the point is, old people have experience to make good decisions. So if they're too idealistic and disagree with our decision with experience, all people experience. So how we can face it?
I think that's true. And I think that's where, if we learn to communicate with each other, the older people's experiences and the younger people's dreams and ideals, we could probably work together to accomplish a greater purpose. Because our experiences can help us from making mistakes, but the young people's ideals can help us take risks, if that makes sense. So it's like we need both of those things. We need people to dream.
That. Yeah, combine it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So young people can be a leadership too.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you.
We are all leaders. No matter how old you are, you're leading someone. And it starts with you're leading yourself. We talked about that last week. Lead yourself well. And even if you're young, other people will begin to follow you. If you're the kind of person that people can follow and they see your purpose and you're making those daily decisions, people will follow you. Just stay committed and be consistent. It's all about having that character, valuing people, every decision that you make. And so, yes, young people, we need young people to step up and to be ready to take risks. But we also need young people to know that you can learn from older people's experiences, from older people's mistakes, so that we can work together. I hope that answers that question. It's a great question. Thank you.
Sorry, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
How if someone hire us to be in their team, but in the end, we try to say what is in our mind, our opinion for something like what is the right thing to do, but our boss, someone who hire us, not accept our opinion. And at the end, when it comes wrong, they try to blame us for not trying harder to say what is the right thing.
Yeah. First, I'm sorry that that happens. So I think if you're trying to talk to your boss and give them some ideas and let them know here's what's going to happen, and they're not listening to you, first, I know that's very frustrating. And that's why you said earlier that you want to speak up for our opinions, right? And yeah, I remember you saying that. And so that's true. And the reason is we want to feel valued. And so part of that, Jetty, and it's tough sometimes, because if you can stay consistent with that organization and follow that leader, you might be able to let them see that you're very intelligent and you have good ideas. They might not see it now, but I would say as long as it's not a bad situation, like you're not being mistreated or abused, I would stay in that and let them see over time that you have good ideas. Stay with it and don't quit putting your opinion out there, voicing your ideas. It's that grit Scott talked about. You just keep moving forward because you're going to climb that mountain. And so they might not listen to you today. They might not listen to you next week or even next month, but keep letting them know that you have good ideas. And then remind them when things don't go, sometimes like, yeah, that's why I said this. Don't be afraid to say that. Maybe next time you can try and have a conversation. It's scary and it might not go well. And I know that's scary, but just keep doing the right thing. Keep making suggestions. Don't quit doing that. And don't let them not listening to you take that desire away from you. One of the things to remember, okay, I want to say this and I'll leave you alone, is sometimes when people don't listen to us, we quit speaking. And if we quit speaking, they'll never hear us. So don't quit speaking up, even if it takes a long time to be heard.
Remember, Jetty, that I don't know if that's how you pronounce your name, but remember, one day, if you keep going, one day you will be the boss over people. You will be the leader with many people following you. So remember that you wanted people to listen to you when you were young and new. Remember that when you are the boss, remember to value the communication. So you keep communicating and keep valuing other people's communication. and that'll make you a great leader one day.
Sometimes we forget the way people made us feel. So never forget that so that you can be a great leader. Good point.
Okay, thank you.
Hello.
That's a great quote from 1 Timothy.
Hello, it's me,
Yes.
Paulus. Yeah. Um, our discussion today is talking about how to lead change in a context of leading with purpose. I'm very interested in commitment to consistency because it is making the right decision consistently over a long period of time that will be build a lasting company. How should we behave when our boss of leaders are inconsistent? What
Oh,
is
man.
the right way to advise my boss or my leader? Thank you.
You know, Paulos, if you get the answer to that question, you need to write a book. Because everyone wants to know, how do we work with an inconsistent leader, an inconsistent boss?
Yeah.
And I think what we would continue to say is that we stay consistent, even if they're not. And we try to build that relationship with our leader so that we can encourage them to be consistent. Sometimes the leaders, and maybe you can talk about this and help me out. Sometimes the leaders aren't aware of their inconsistency. And it's hard for us because we see it and we'll get frustrated by it. But what we should do, if we can, is we should talk about it with our leader. Here's what I see happening. Maybe we should try this. Be sure we don't talk about it behind the leader's back, because that creates division and that will not help. So it's hard to address that, especially if your leader won't let you. And if your leader won't let you address that, then I'm sorry. Stay consistent as long as you can. And then if another opportunity comes up, good luck. But I would say the first thing is, because it's about your character and your integrity, is stay consistent. Honor your leader, even if your leader is inconsistent. And then talk to them about it. Bring it up when it's appropriate.
Yeah. Okay. We must make a good relationship with our boss of leader if they don't consistent. Yeah. Is right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're going to talk to them about it, you need to have a relationship that lets you talk to them about it.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Anyone else have any questions?
We have 2 minutes more.
That's last call.
Let's go.
Okay. I see somebody.
Deflito.
Deflito.
Thank you for the opportunity. So I'm a student in English Education Department. So I have a little bit questions here. I just want to ask about taking the risk. So basically, I want to make a change in my life. I mean, I want to make a change in my life, but I always afraid to take a risk, or out of my comfortable zone. Like, afraid of joining something like what my friends in my college do, like joining the organization or doing the competition in my college, and I always afraid to out of my comfortable zone. So what if my questions here, how what should I do? I want to make a change. I want to make a change in my life, but I always afraid to out of my comfortable zone. Thank you.
Sure. You want me to talk about that? All right, Devilito, I will give you two ideas. Okay. First, our comfort zone. Imagine that you're standing in a circle, and that circle is your comfortable zone. Every step that you take outside that circle, if you expand your circle, then your comfortable zone gets bigger. So continue to push yourself so that your comfort zone grows. And the second thing is this, and feel free to give me your feedback, your thoughts, that we have the option to either take risks or live with regrets. Because you don't want to look back and wish that you would have done something, because you can't go back and do it. So if it's not something that is dangerous for your health or your family, it's not illegal, it maintains your integrity, then taking risks is the only way to grow.
Yeah, that important thing. But I was always feel like I always nervous when I'm in a new organization. I mean, like I always nervous to make or build up a communication with somebody else, like strange that I just know. I mean, like I can make a communication with the new people, so that make me afraid to join any like organization in my college.
Sure. I think a lot of people would probably say, yes, I'm afraid of that too.
Yeah.
But once you start doing and start small, start in small situations, having conversations with people, learning how to build those relationships, and then it'll become easier for you. But you have to start or it will never happen. And while you're young and you're in school, it's best to start that now. Otherwise, it'll be harder as you get older to do that. That's something I had to learn how to do it early. And I love talking to new people and strangers. It's fun for me, but I had to learn how to do that. And so that's a risk that can be worth it. But you will, and it's a challenge. Maybe you need to get a friend and do it together. But you start taking those small steps, start small, and your comfort zone will grow. You can do it, man.
Oh, thank you so much. That means a lot.
Anyone else? I know time's up. All right, Alfrina.
Okay, time is up. Thank you, everyone. So I can conclude some point. First one is commitment to consistency. The second one is character and consistency. And then take a risk or live with regrets. That's some points that I can conclude. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Mr. Reki and Mr. Kido. I hope to see you again in the different topic of webinars. Mr. Reki, are you?
Yep.
Okay. So this is the last webinar series of Leading with Purpose. So it's time to say goodbye and see you on the next webinar.
Yeah, thank you, Alfrina. I hope Scott will prepare another topics for us. So we can meet again, someday in the
Okay.
next occasion.
I cannot wait.
Yeah, and actually, Scott and Michael prepared to visit Indonesia long time ago, but because of the COVID, only Scott visit us once. But next time, I hope we can invite Michael and Scott to visit Indonesia and meet us face to face
That would be
one day.
great.
Okay, with another topics of seminars. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Michael. Thank you very much, Scott. Have
Thank
a great
you.
weekend.
Yeah, you too.
Stay healthy and stay safe all. Okay, Mr. Kido.
Okay. Thank you, Mrs. Moderator, Ms. Alfrina. Thank you, Mr. Speakers, Mr. Scott, Mr. Michael. Such an inspiring knowledge and discussing we have here today. And thank you for this as well. So before we close this webinar, I would like to send some acknowledgement for the teams, for our teams, UHEC teams. Thanks to Mr. Reki for supporting us. And Mrs. Siska Kairupan, thank you for support us. Tika, who else? Jivita, Bro Iman, and for all participants, thank you very much. And again, thanks for our speakers from part 1 to part 3. Such a great experience for me and for us. Finally, I hope this webinar will bring the inspiration and positive impact for all of us. We also would like to apologize for some technical issues appear during this webinar, and we look forward for seeing all of you in the next meeting, in the next event. And for Scott and Mr. Michael, we can see each other in Indonesia after this pandemic. Okay. Have a good day, everyone. Good night, Mr. Scott, Mr. Michael. Thank you. And see you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Terima kasih untuk semua mahasiswa, walaupun mungkin ada tidak mengerti, tapi belajar. Karena nanti sesudah ini pelatihan akan ada kursus bahasa Inggris. Ini maraton. Ya. Jadi setiap pertemuan akan ada satu sesi kursus bahasa Inggris untuk khusus mahasiswa UHEC. Terima kasih.
Terima kasih Mr. Reki, Guido, dan semuanya.
Aduh, lupa menyanyi tadi.
Oh iya.
Thank you.